All right, well, thank you everyone for joining us. Today, we're going to be talking about building resilient GA4 data strategies using Conversions API and or GTM server-side tagging. Again, as Phil mentioned, I'm Barb Kalicki. I'm Manager of Data Strategy at Publicis Sapient. Here's our agenda. We're going to go over really quickly. We'll talk about the imperative for change. As everybody may have heard, cookies are going away, so we're going to be talking about that for a little bit. What is CAPI, Conversions API, the types of integrations that you can have, server-side GTM versus CAPI, what's the difference between the two, some benefits overall, and a holistic cookieless strategy, which you should start to think about implementing. So as we know, cookies have been around for a while, but browsers have been blocking them. Ad blockers on the browsers have been blocking them since really 2016. And right here we have a slide that just shows that, they're slowly decreasing in use across different browser platforms. Now Google, for the third time, has pushed the date out to end of 2025 when Chrome will stop using third-party cookies or and third-party collection techniques. Now, most people will be like, okay, well, I don't need to do anything. It's 2025. But what I want to do is flip that narrative and let you know that now is the time to start thinking about creating a first-party data strategy for your company. So not only protecting what you're doing in Google Analytics, but also protecting the data that's coming in from all of your different marketing campaigns so that you can continue to, have attributions and be able to see what your marketing is doing for you, and personalization, all the things. We'll talk about those in a minute. So this slide shows the depreciation of a cookie. This is actually just a regular user journey. The person comes, your customer comes to your website, a tracker is placed, a pixel, third-party pixels placed on their website browser, and then it follows them and sends that data back to the ad platforms. Actually, the ad platform scrapes the data from the cookie and populates it in their platform saying, oh, this person saw the ad and they went to your site. Well, when browsers start blocking these cookies where that big red X is, there'll be no more data going to the ad platform. So, all your marketing activities, your retargeting, your personalization, your measurement, your optimization, even some of your Google Analytics data will be lost. So this is why we're saying to all of our clients, start thinking about a first-party data strategy now. So, digital performance is influenced by ad platforms. So, there's a decisioning algorithm that's involved based on, the people that see your ad and click on it. So, you want to ensure that you are going to retain those conversions that you see in your site and on your in your other offline data, so that you are able to better market, personalize, identity resolution, all the things that help to get your business, increase your ROI. So the opportunity for here is to ensure that you're driving your signal effectiveness. And so when you're implementing CAPI or any kind of cookie or collecting any kind of data, your performance lift should increase by 38%. Now, once the privacy pressures started coming and we started seeing, blockers and ad blockers and people putting them on their browsers, we're seeing a 75% decrease in signal loss. So all of those interactions that you had with your users on your site are now not being seen or not being captured, therefore not allowing you to optimize your marketing. So we're on to what is CAPI. CAPI is a conversions API. I am sharing the slides afterwards, so this is a really good tearaway slide to, explain to clients or internal stakeholders what conversions API is and how you can use it. But basically, it's a durable, privacy-safe connection between your website and your ad platforms and Google Analytics. And so it's a server-to-server connection. And what do we mean by server to server? So here's the user journey again, but instead of having that big red X where those signals are lost, we now see that their interaction on the website is sent directly from your website server to the ad platform server. Another good thing to note here is that you're controlling the data that you send. It's your first party data and you're controlling it. So it kind of sounds like a cookie, right? Well, it is, but it isn't. It's not technically a cookie. It's your first party data. You're taking control of your data. You're sending it when you want to send it to what platforms you want to send to help increase your match rates, help improve the decisioning algorithms so that you're able to better market to your customers. Now, not only market to your customers, but also this data is being sent in, hashed PII. So it's already privacy safe so that you don't have to worry about regulations or other, laws that have come into place because it's your data that you owned and that you are actually collecting it based on consent, right? So you're sending data, only data that users have consented to create those more durable signals. Oh, and the other thing to note here is that now you don't have to worry about being impacted by browsers or ad blockers because you're sending it directly from your server to the ad platform server. So what do I mean by matching and match rates? Well, match rates help the decisioning algorithms. It actually helps to display your ad. So, and it actually helps to, improve your cost per click and your return on ad spend. So here we see this is how the journey works once the data is collected. So we're collecting the data on our site with the first party cookie. We're sending, we can send first name, last name, email. All of this is hashed again to the ad platform. And then the ad platform makes a decision on whether or not the user is in their platform. Has the user seen an ad? Has the user been served an ad or clicked on an ad? And once that happens, they'll match that user to the ad that they saw. So you're now matching the user to the media that actually drove them to convert on your site. And what that does is it helps to build up and strengthen your first party data strategy. So what do I mean by that? Well, now not only do you have more data because you're collecting it yourself instead of relying on a cookie to send the data to the platform, you're collecting the data, you're sending it yourself to the platform. And then if you have this data, you've matched it to that ad, now it can help enhance your CDPs, your other MarTech tools like your CRMs. So it helps to improve your identity resolution, strengthening your first party data strategy. So most advertising solutions have these CAPIs. They're called different things, but they basically almost everyone has one. So the Trade Desk, Pinterest, Amazon, Meta, X, they all have one. You can stand it up yourself. We'll talk about integrations in a minute. But I think TIMECODES also has a conversions API they're working on. And they all have these same type of things, but it's just called something different in their platforms. Like Pinterest decided to call it the API for conversions, just to be different, I think. But in any case, they all have a solution that you can use. Now we'll review the integrations for CAPI. So there's 3 types of integrations. So there's the individual media platforms, which we've been talking about. There's independent providers, which so these are the providers that can stand it up for you. And the way you are going to choose which integration to use will be based on, several different factors. Now, I have a slide after this that has some questions that you can answer to help to make a decision on what existing tech, if you want to use an existing tech stack or an independent provider, or just connect them directly from the media platforms. So, there's different considerations for these as well. So each media platform, you have to connect them individually. Independent providers, they're out there, they are able to help you stand up CAPI. They have the cloud servers that are going to host the APIs, and they'll charge you probably a monthly data processing fee. And then your existing tech stack, things like Google Tag Manager, you can set up server to server Google Tag Manager. Adobe has their own solution, LiveRamp, Telium, Treasure Data. Everybody has something that you could use. The thing with the existing tech stack is the actual extra spend you might incur based on the platform. Maybe this part of their platform is something that's an add-on. I know with Google Tag Manager, there'll be processing fees from using the Google Cloud servers. And we'll go over a little bit of a difference between what is the difference between setting it up individually media platforms or Google Tag Manager in a few slides. Again, here's the slide about questions, like how many, what kind of dev teams do you have? Do you have dev teams that it can help you stand up these CAPIs, or Google Tag Manager? What kind of technical expertise do they have? What kind of service are you going to need? Can you do this all on your own? Are you able to set up your 5 platforms in your 30 different markets globally? Or do you need somebody that's going to be able to do it for you to take on that load of, hosting those APIs across 30 markets? It's 5 times 30. It's early. I can't do math right now, but it's a lot of connections to set up. So these, again, you'll have the slides so you can check these questions out yourself and see what type of integration will work for you. So a little bit about server-side GTM versus CAPI. Now, the caveat to all of this is that you will do either or. You wouldn't set up server-side GTM and CAPI because they're doing the same thing, right? They're collecting data, first-party data, and they're sending it to ad servers. So if you had like server-side GTM and CAPI set up, you'd be like double counting things. So Tag Manager, has created server-side tagging. It's been around for a little while now. And again, it brings Google Tag Manager to the server and into a cloud container. So instead of it being just on, GTM, sending data directly to Google Analytics, the data is collected from GTM, sent to the server, and then sent to any of the sources. So like analytics, app data, your offline data, you can connect that as well. And then also any ad platform. So again, CAPI, but server-side GTM. So how do we do this with server-side GTM? Well, here's another just overview slide. I forgot I put this in here. So you control your data. Again, just like CAPI, you control your visitor data. It's your first-party data that you're sending. You can now send it again to Google Analytics, AdWords, search, DV360, and any other ad platforms like Meta, TikTok, X, all the other ones that I had mentioned before. It's the same type of thing. It's just set up on GTM's servers. Now, they make it seem very easy here. It is to set it up, to start the server is easy. The conversions API part is where you're going to need dev help because they'll have to help you figure out how to get the API code into the tags. But basically, you go to your server container under admin. What kind of container are you going to set up? This is another server container you're going to set up instead of just web, iOS, or Android. Basically what this does is creates another instance of your GTM. So in order to use server-side GTM, you have to have a GTM instance also. So you can't just set up server-side GTM without an actual Google Tag Manager instance. So then you configure your new server. There's, here's the steps that you can do. It's really easy. They walk you through it. Again, it's showing here, number 2, billing account. So the billing account is for the Google Cloud servers that you're going to be using to help collect the data. And then once it's created, you set your billing account and then have your ad server, you create your tagging server, and then it gives you a note that, hey, your server has been created. So again, it's easy to set up, but then the actual connections are going to be what you need dev resources for. So this is just an example of using server-side GTM as opposed to CAPI. So here we have a difference. Like I said, there's a difference there. You don't want to set them up at the same time. So here's kind of the difference between the two. And, whatever works best for you is what you can do. So, there's different setup types. There's one-time custom setup. You have to do it yourself. With CAPI, you can have an independent provider help you set it up with SaaS support. And then the different types of, cloud server, who owns the cloud, how many IT resources are you going to need, what's the cost of your implementation going to be, and the different channels that they have available. Again, server-side GTM has a separate implementation per channel, but independent providers of CAPI are able to set it up into one control center, one command center that you can use and, push your data to the ad platforms and Google Analytics. So let's go over a few benefits of what this is going to do for you and your company. So now your first party data, everybody's like, well, we need first party or zero party data. Yes. Why? Because this is data you are having, your users are consenting for you to collect. It is your data. You can use it how you like. And with CAPI or server-side GTM, now you're taking control over that data. So instead of, the cookie coming in and pulling the data from the site and sending it to the ad platform, as I said, you will push the data that is yours to the platform. So you decide what to send and when to send it. So in a few slides, I have some case studies that'll show some increases that are pretty interesting in all of our different marketing activities, right? So your targeting and your retargeting, your personalization, help, create more personalized experiences, then you can decrease your cost per acquisition because you're getting more valued users to the site, better leads that are generated to the site, the people that want to have your product, or they see your ad, they see it at the right time and the right place with the right person. So that helps decrease your cost per acquisition. And then measuring, you will have a better way of measuring things because you'll have more signals that are going to the ad platforms or server-side GTM, and you'll be able to see where did those conversions come from, as opposed to, kind of guessing. Now it's your control. You can make sure that you're seeing the conversions correctly from whatever source they are coming from. And then optimization. So now you can optimize your media spend. You can optimize, your analytics. You can optimize your tagging. You can optimize who you're reaching, how are we reaching them? We can, do other marketing things like, not just personalization, but now, you have that data collected together. You can see, okay, yeah, they saw this ad, but then they went into the store. So you can connect your offline and your online data. And that way, maybe, if they see an ad from Meta or whatever, you can now not only, market to them on Meta, now you can market to them on, email or another channel. You can also remove people from like marketing campaigns that have seen or purchase a product, which helps even more to improve your personalization and your optimizing your conversions. So, I mentioned you can connect offline and online data, and, your app data can all now be connected so that you're increasing the signals that are going to your ad platforms, or, the data that's coming in to your Google Analytics platform. But beyond that, there's broader benefits. So again, I think I mentioned that this is privacy centric. So you're collecting data based on a user's consent, and it was always meant to be a way to ensure the data is privacy safe. So you're following the regulations and the guidelines, right? So, you have your different types of consent set up, whether you're in GDPR or CCPA, and once you collect that data, they give consent. It's now yours to use, and you have control over it instead of giving control to the ad platforms or Google Analytics. It also provides stronger signals, which creates better performance for your marketing, which we kind of went over a little bit in the slides before. And the best part is you have new measurement now. Now you're connecting more conversions to your ads or your site or your marketing activities, and this helps to improve your measurement of ability. So now you're not just doing, a cost per visit. Now you can do more sophisticated statistical analysis like market basket analysis, or you can do customer lifetime value, other measurements that can help you improve not only your budget, but also increase your return on ad spend. As promised, here's our fabulous case studies. So these are a couple of clients that we worked with. Can't tell you who it is, but it's a big US retailer. And what's good to note here is that you see that they were able to increase their search signals by 48%. So when somebody comes to your site and is searching, they're basically raising their hand. They're saying, hey, I'm here, I'm looking for a red coat. So when you're able to connect those users to your ads that you've served, you're able to actually improve your search functionality on your site. You can also improve the marketing to those that are actually searching for those items on your site. So you could personalize it and say, here, lady, you were looking for this red coat. Well, here's an ad for 10% off a red coat. So this was really great lift for them. This is a Meta case study, actually. So they were able to realize a 56% increase in their return on ad spend, which is huge, especially when you're spending so much money on ad spends. You're increasing your ROAS, which means you're getting better qualified leads to your site. And then they also had a 46% reduction in cost per click, meaning they have realized they're getting more valuable people to their site, so they're spending less money on their advertising because they're reaching the people that want to purchase their product. My next case study is a global fashion retailer. So this is a company that is based in Germany. So again, it's hard for companies in the EU. I noticed that they have a harder time actually connecting their media spend because of all the GDPR regulations and the ad blockers and the browsers blocking different types of ads. But this company was able to realize double-digit increase across all of their conversion events on their site. So, purchase, add to cart, view content, everything was increased twice, double over. They also were able to find 22% more purchases and connect them and record them and show that, this media is working or this email was working. And they received a very big confidence level of their ads and match rates. So match rates are where the decisioning algorithms help out where the ad's going to be displayed. So they were able to see a confidence level of over 99%. So some really big lift in signals and connecting the signals to their ad spend. All right, so now we've been talking a little bit about CAPI, but it is part of a bigger solution for your company. And it's something that everybody should be thinking about, especially with the loss of third-party cookies. So we kind of went over this a little bit, but not only do we see, this, increase in signals and ad spend is getting more improved, we also see that it helps to improve your identity resolution, right? Because now this is your first party data, you're sending it to the different places, they're connecting users, and then it's coming back to your MarTech. So it's helping to connect those different users in your MarTech. So CDPs, clean rooms, and all these other things that we can use, like we can now enable ourselves to have better insights into where our customers are, what the customer journey looks like, and how our customers spending their time, where do we focus on in our marketing efforts. And then, first party availability, consent. Again, modern consent management platforms are, trying to protect the user's privacy. You're collecting data based on that consent. And now, any of this data that you're working with is data that is allowed to be used and reviewed and measured. And then it also helps with cross-functional partnerships. So, we've seen at different companies like everybody is trying to stand up a cookieless solution in the different departments like IT and marketing, and maybe some parts of, analytics is trying to do the same thing. So this would help, bring all of your departments together, because you all have to work together in order to get stand up anyway. And so this will help to improve those relationships and increase productivity across your different departments, so that you can actually create one cookieless solution, a first-party data strategy. Okay, so this is our strategy house we use to help create a framework for a cookieless strategy. So basically you want your your marketing and your analytics to be personalized for customers to come to your site and purchase your products. So we have that stands up, the vision is our 3 strategic pillars. So your media approach, experimenting with new ways of approaching your media, ensuring that you're targeting and retargeting the right people, building your first party data strategy, again, helping with your identity resolution, helping to connect those different interactions on your site, on your app, offline interactions, bringing them all together. Augmenting your data and establishing partnerships. So, not only are you going to establish partnerships within your company to get this stood up, but you can also establish partnerships outside of it, like with Meta or TikTok. They have different ways of standing up CAPI, especially if you're advertising with them. They're really great partners that you can reach out to help, understand your consumers and improve the relevancy of your actual marketing dollars. And then here's our foundations here at the bottom. These foundations are what helps hold up the pillars to achieve the vision, right? So, you're connected MarTech and AdTech stack. Now you're investing in the right things, the right tools to use for, your first party data strategy. Your privacy, now you have data privacy and governance along with it, because this is your data. So you're governing the data and using the data as you see fit, not as somebody else decides to in the ad platform. And then finally, you can establish, cross-functional partners internally, which we talked about a little bit, IT and marketing, and also externally with the agencies and server options, GTM, Google, Meta, TikTok, all of the big guys. You'll have those partnerships to help build that foundation and, create your 3 pillars of first party data strategy to hold up your vision. And so with that, I have gone through all the slides. Hopefully I didn't go through too fast. And I am now open for questions. I also have, if you email me, I wasn't able to share it here on the call, but if you email me here, I can send you a questionnaire that will kind of help to inform on your actual enterprise data strategy. It's got different types of questions. And when you answer them, it'll get you thinking. It's like thought starter questions to how your enterprise data strategy can move forward, where you are at in the journey of data strategy from novice to advanced. And then what we can do too is set up some time later on to chat about the results from the questionnaire if you want. There's a place in there to fill that out, but if you email me, I'll send you the link to that actual survey. And so with that, are there any questions?
Hi, Barbara. There's 3 questions. So
Oh, perfect.
Alina's asked, what is the average percentage you see in data collection when going server side? I think she means the average uplift.
Yeah, so the average uplift is anywhere from 38 to 50% in signal improvements. And if you don't do it, you lose 75% or more of signals. So if you do it, you're actually helping to improve that signal by 38 to 50%. And the reason why it's not 1-to-1 is because of, again, privacy and consent.
Okay, and does CAPI have some of the other capabilities of server-side GTM, like enabling region-specific behavior, or is server-side GTM necessary for that?
Yes, no. CAPI does have region-specific behaviors. In fact, some of the so now you would have to set that up internally if you're doing it on server-side GTM, but if you use like an independent partner or one of the actual media connections, they have servers across the world, so they'll be, they'll use the data where they need to in the global regions. So it is actually a way to do that as well.
Yeah, I know tracking in China is sometimes a bit difficult because Google
Mm,
doesn't have a server there.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
so there's a question, which SaaS CAPI integration, well, with SaaS CAPI integrations, we do not have control on the data that's being sent, right? Oh, so I think the question is, by using the SaaS CAPI integration, do you lose the ability to edit or control it?
No, you don't lose the ability to edit or control it. You still have, like, even if it's a SaaS CAPI, you're basically like, it's your own command center. So instead of having, multiple connections, it's basically one command center where all those connections you can see, you can see what data you're sending. The only thing the SaaS company does is to process those APIs to send them back to the ad platform. You're still in control of all of your.
Oh, yeah, I've seen some of those SaaS platforms do an interesting thing where they actually collect any like 404 or 500 responses that would normally kind of be dropped by the
Mhm.
browser. So they kind of, in effect, by having almost like middleware and
Yeah.
then not so GTM like auto provisioning mode, it means that that these other tools are able to kind of provide insight that you wouldn't normally see, um, which is quite useful. I was seeing, for instance, an add to cart, a pixel going to Facebook, which was like missing a sorry, maybe it's GA4 one. It was missing a
Mm,
currency, and that caused it to return a
mm.
400 status response. So which wasn't like, unless, I mean, sometimes there's JavaScript error in the client, but you don't really see those at scale, which these tools kind of potentially do show.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure. And that's a good point too, because you do have limitations in GA4, right? Like if you're not sending value or you're not sending currency, you're not getting that interaction. You're not going to see that interaction. So yeah, having CAPI that's collecting the data of what's going on the site, it's kind of like the way to check and see, oh, what's going on here. Like you said, you probably wouldn't have seen that issue for a long time until you really dug into the reporting, and then you found your 404 error going on. So yeah, it's a really great point actually.
Yeah, and I think sort of server-side enhanced conversions and server-side are kind of like necessary countermeasures to sort of combat Apple
Yeah,
trying to sort of kill off cookies.
yeah,
Sort of,
yeah.
it's the other thing I've seen with some of these kind of sort of SaaS providers is they've got better ways of kind of augmenting like GTM.JavaScript as in server-side GTM, so
Mhm.
it's kind of less obvious that it's like a kind of hosted tracker, i.e.,
Right.
gets around pattern matching and domain to IP location and things like that. So cool. Okay, yeah, definitely something that marketers need to plan for and put in their kind of future-proofing strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've
Yep.
just I put the link to the speaker feedback into the chat, so people can sort of fill that in to provide any questions they've got for you, or any bits of feedback. So thank you so much for doing that talk, Barbara.
Yeah, thank you everybody. Thank you for attending and hope it was very useful.
Yeah, some good tips and tricks there.